Good evening. Welcome to the Monday, September 28th, 2015 regular business board meeting of the Board of School Directors, Lower Merion School District. I'd like to take just a moment to have Ms. Devonna Venturo recognize or acknowledge some sad news that the board received regarding the death of a former board member, Marcia Taylor. Ms. Devonna Venturo.
Thank you, Dr. Manlich. It's with great sadness that I announce that Marcia Taylor, former Lower Merion School Board Director, passed away this weekend from cancer. Marcia served on the board for 8 years, from 1999 to 2007. She was a tireless advocate for children of our district and a highly respected member of our school community. The family asked that I keep my remarks to a minimum. So just let me say that on behalf of myself and the entire Board of School Directors, I'd like to offer our sincere condolences to Dr. Taylor's family. If we could, I'd like to ask that we share a moment of silence in honor of Dr. Marcia Taylor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will turn the meeting over to Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Dr. Van Lynch. It is with great pleasure that I'd like to introduce Mr. Scott Mitchell. He is the principal of Penn Valley Elementary School and has been the practice of the board, and I think it's an excellent practice, monthly to share some updates on some of our schools so that we keep in contact with what matters most, the kids, the teachers, the parents. Mr. Mitchell?
Thank you. So I've been here 6.5 years, and this is my first time presenting to the board. So thanks for having me. So what I did was I just presented prepared a couple slides to talk about something exciting, two things that are happening at Penn Valley that we're really proud of and really excited about. The first one is about our growth, growing and loving it. And it is absolutely true. We are celebrating the diversity that is coming to our school and how it's enriching our lives as educators, making us think differently about the way we present information. So this is kind of showing you where we've been and where we're going. 465 small to 705 strong. And looking, what we're really appreciative of is the class sizes remain low, lowest in Montgomery County. And I thank you for giving us new classrooms and space to deal with kids. And we have really, just as I said, been celebrating this growth and the diversity that's coming in and continues to move into our school. Here's the current breakdown of our demographics at Penn Valley. So when I started there 6.5 years ago, we had 12% of our population was African American, and as that has declined, we've seen a rise in our Asian, Hispanic, and multiracial, which were all around 2% when I started 6.5 years ago. And this is what I'm talking about, the way that we're thinking about meeting kids' needs as they move into the district with our ELL population, just making sure that we have supports in place to see everyone succeed. These are our tenets for CARES. It's what we talk about as a staff. We talk about it at morning meeting, and we celebrate this every day at Penn Valley. We talk about what does empathy look like and sound like for a kindergartner, and we break it down into kid-friendly terms like we do for everything else here. And then we catch kids being good, and we try to talk about that on the spot and recognize what they're doing and give them immediate feedback. The other thing we're doing is we're celebrating awesome. Last year, we spent a lot of time celebrating, making sure that all stakeholders feel valued. So we had things throughout the year, and they're continuing this year. Our first one is actually October 2nd, and we're going to celebrate our custodial staff and the marvelous job that they do every day, and letting everyone know that we value their input. because everybody contributes to the well-being of our kids. So I have a couple slides here showing our cafeteria recess assistants. We brought 600 plus kids into the gymnasium and surprised them with kids cheering and singing. They had fake flowers that we presented to them and crowns for them for their head, certificates. They were crying. It was really emotional, and they thanked us for how they felt valued and respected and appreciated, and we really do appreciate everyone's contributions. Our bus drivers, the kids made cards for them, and we had school bus chocolate bars made for them. Hope no one from the nutrition policy is here, but we did serve chocolate to the bus drivers and bags of hot cocoa that they could make in our cafeteria when they got to school. And parent volunteers. We had, again, s'more people like you. So we really just tried to make people feel special. This is our administrative assistants. The kids put on a performance for them. They don't last long. They were 15 minutes, but it was enough time, again, I keep repeating myself, to let them know that they're really special people and valuable. Last year, we also created a Penn Valley mission and vision statement. And we have self-checks. So the staff, we spent 4 months coming up with these mission and vision statements and making sure that we can hold each other accountable and that we're doing these things on a daily basis, and it's not just words that are on a piece of paper. We put this on all staff meeting agendas, on letterhead that goes home. It's at the footer at the bottom. Usually it's just the vision statement, but we're talking about what does this look like at Penn Valley and what does this mean for our community. You'll see that under the Penn Valley mission statement, the bottom line, supported by home and community. And that is very critical in our efforts as, again, we are striving to meet everybody's needs and making sure something that we talk about is that all stakeholders have a place at the table when we're talking about handbook revisions, about the way we schedule and talk to parents and share communication. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you. Hope when you come back in 2021.
That's what it will be.
you'll- Won't probably grow quite as much, we're hoping.
Probably not. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Any
Thanks.
questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Oh, can I
That's
ask
okay.
one question? Thank you for the presentation, and I'm really thrilled that you're embracing growth because
Sure.
you have to. Your mission statement, I love that you spent time doing that. I think it's great that an organization does that. How do you see that fitting into the strategic plan and the two working together?
Absolutely. So a huge part of the strategic plan, which has kind of been visionary, I've never experienced, is how open it has been and transparent, getting a lot of stakeholders to come in and provide input. And that's what we try to do every day at Penn Valley. We talk about being transparent. We talk about getting every stakeholder into the conversation, going into the community. We hold dinners at Bethel AME, provide babysitting. We have dinner. We break bread. That's what I put out in the memo, come break bread with Penn Valley. Just making sure that we're meeting the needs of everyone. It seems like the strategic plan, which was open, receptive, transparent, and offers a lot of latitude in how you interpret that and make contributions. We're constantly looking for input from stakeholders. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
I will now move to the portion of the agenda for audience recognition. If there's anyone interested in giving public comment, please sign in with Ms. LaPera. Seeing none. I will now approve the minutes from the following Board of School Directors meetings. Approve the minutes from the August 17th regular business board meeting, September 21st Education Committee and supplementary regular board meeting, and accept the following committee meeting minutes: September 16th Curriculum Committee, September 18th Policy Committee meeting, September 24th Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting. Are there any questions or comments regarding the meetings and agenda, and minutes, I'm sorry. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge the service of two administrators who have since left the district. On behalf of the Board of School Directors, we acknowledge the service to the district of Miss Marcy Hockfield, who was with Lower Merion School District for over 30 years. She, as a secondary educator and administrator, Ms. Hockfield accepted a position as a principal at Cheltenham, and the Board of School Directors certainly wish her well. Additionally, on tonight's agenda, we want to congratulate Dr. Orthea Bradley, who has also been promoted to the position of principal in Quakertown School District. So again, the Board of School Directors certainly wishes them both well, and thank them both for their service to the district. And before I turn the meeting over to Mr. Copeland, because this is our first official business meeting of the 2015-16 school year, I did want to provide another formal welcome to Mr. Copeland. I didn't warn him, but I do want to do that. So here goes. We want to formally welcome Mr. Copeland again to his first formal business meeting of the school year. While Mr. Copeland certainly hit the ground running upon his start with the district July 1st, the board felt it befitting to extend another welcome on his behalf. Mr. Copeland joins Lower Merion with over 13 years' experience in the superintendency in the Neshaminy, Pennsylvania, and Piscataway, New Jersey school districts. He is a highly accomplished, nationally recognized school leader who next month will be recognized by the Pennsylvania Association for School Administrators for his outstanding leadership in his prior district. Mr. Copeland brings a wealth of skills and experience that the board is certain will serve him well here in Lower Merion. He has dedicated his career to ensuring educational equity in programming and resources for all students, and has a long record of strong fiscal and curricular leadership. We are confident that he will provide strong and highly capable leadership in the years to come. Over the past few months, Mr. Copeland has been meeting and getting acquainted with the administrative team. He's worked closely with our central office staff on a variety of issues, including personnel and facilities and operations. Hopefully, you'll have a chance to meet with him at one of his trademark meetings, Ask the Superintendent. Additionally, he's providing the board and the district with a vision on how best to implement the strategic plan. As you can see, he's been quite busy even in the short time that he's been with us. Please join the Board of School Directors in again welcoming our new superintendent, Mr. Robert Copeland.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. No, she didn't warn me about any of that. It's been a great experience for me these last several months, and I very much appreciate the warm welcome that I've received from everyone in the Lower Merion School District. As Dr. Van Lynch says, we do have a series of forums so that I can get to know you. They're called Ask the Superintendent. Sometimes, you know, when you're new, they can ask. I don't know how much of an answer I have for them, but I've done these over the last 10 or 12 years and found them really beneficial. The next one is tomorrow night at Harriton High School at 6 o'clock p.m. I'm looking out in the audience and people are shaking their heads, so that's must be where I'm going to be tomorrow. So thank you very much, Dr. Van Lynch. Thank you all for your kind words. Now, some words of recognition for some really important folks in the school district. Student winners of Young Playwrights Competition, 3 Bala-Cynwyd middle school students who are currently 9th graders at Lower Merion have been named winners in the 2015 Philadelphia Young Playwrights Competition. Olivia Bartran earned first place for her play Color Men. The play will be performed as part of the Philadelphia Young Playwrights Development Series later this year. Olivia will work directly with theater professionals to bring the script to life on stage. Olivia's classmates, Molly Cutler and Danielle Snyder, earned second place honors for their plays. Our students were selected as winners among more than 650 applicants. This is a remarkable honor and reflects their exceptional efforts and the support and guidance of their teacher, Rachel Nichols. Congratulations. That was a wonderful honor. Also, Harridan International Night. Congratulations to the Harridan community on hosting their first ever International Night earlier this month. The event raised awareness and appreciation for cultural diversity in our community through a variety of activities and served as a fundraiser for several charities focused on empowering women and children in developing countries, including the Cambodian Children's Fund. Cameron Wright, award-winning author of The Rent Collector, one of our high school summer reading books, was present and spoke about the challenges facing many in Cambodia and shared several inspiring stories from his travels. Kudos to teachers Nicole Donzi and the committee of 7 students who organized the event and helped raise more than $2,000. This has been an exceptional beginning to the Lower Merion School District school year. I, for one, although I'm happy that September will end and October will begin, so I can really feel like we've begun. But with that, those are the highlights. Some other issues, the administration, under Section B in the agenda, adjudication for residency determination. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the specially appointed hearing examiner's resolution excluding students from the school and removing them from the rolls of the Lower Merion School District effective October 9th, 2015, due to lack of residency in the form presented to the board.
Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Louder.
No.
Okay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 8-1.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask that items A through C under Human Resources be approved. The superintendent recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached human resource actions HR 1 through HR 6. Further, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached Cronus Incorporated software license and services renewal agreement and First Amendment for the period of September 26, 2015 to September 25, 2016. It is not to exceed the amount of $47,935.48. And under C, the superintendent recommends that the Board of School Directors approve the consulting agreement with Catherine Toole to provide consulting services to the Human Resources Department at the rate of $45 an hour, not to exceed 160 hours.
Any questions, comments? Is there please?
I had a question on the coaching positions and just how we decide how many coaches we need and the process that goes on behind those decisions.
Is Mrs. Kim?
Yes.
Typically, that has been established by the district based on the number of students and that are enrolled in those programs. And we try to make it as equitable. I know last year there was a concern about, are there enough enrolled students for particular programs to run? So we have looked at prorating of starting, opening up a coaching position, and depending on the number of students that are enrolled, if there isn't enough students, that we prorate the coaches for those positions, and then without enough students to run the actual programs, we don't continue the programs. Sure.
There are other questions? Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will now have I'm sorry, I took your part.
No, I think you wanted to introduce. All right. Then I would ask the board to please take action on sections B and C. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the attached agreement with School Scheduling Associates in the amount of $14,000 from November 5th, 2015 through March 3rd, 2016 regarding the aligning of the middle school schedules. And further, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approve the attached agreement with Peter Noonan in the amount of $35,000 for the term of September 2015 to May 2016 to provide consultation regarding customization of the district's professional learning communities.
My apologies, I skipped Dr. Gilbert's report, but we'll go back to that momentarily. I do have a question, though. Is it okay to vote on these before we go back to her report?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Need to see a
All right,
motion in a second.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Again, Dr. Gilbert, curriculum
Well, it's
committee
fine, because I was
report.
busy
Thank
trying to
you.
figure out with Diane when the next meeting was, so I could report that, so I missed my cue, so that was my fault. So the curriculum committee of the board did meet on September 15th. We had two presentations. The first presentation was on the 2014-15 PSSA and Keystone data. That entire presentation is on the website, and it was also repeated in short and formed at the education meeting last Monday, and is on the website there as well. So I won't spend a lot of time talking about it since we've now had two public meetings. But Mr. Copeland talked about how the standardized tests sort of related to our broader strategic plan, and how they were state mandates that we obviously use and try to use in the best way possible for our own students, but that there are other ways of assessing students that we're doing as well. So, but just to remind people that these tests are new. It's a new set of questions that are, in fact, are more difficult, being in line to the Common Core. And while our scores have been lower than in past years, they're still high relative to the rest of the state. Mr. Copeland indicated he was also concerned about patterns among underrepresented groups. The second presentation was on summer curriculum work. Again, it was also presented at the last education meeting on Monday night, so I won't go into detail there. But the idea is that the elementary teams reported revisions in math and literacy based on analysis of a broad range of data. And at the secondary level, they've been looking at how to make the curriculum more aligned to standards, practice-based, and content-rich. So the goal in all these cases is that, we don't do test prep, but to make sure that we use the data to ensure learning is happening in an authentic way. We also reviewed the two contracts that were just approved and then were sent to facilities to be reviewed as well. So I think we're good with those two.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. And the next meeting is October 7th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. Under Student Services, in sections A, B, and C, I can take those all three. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the student service items as listed, agreements for students receiving non-district educational services SS1 through SS23.
Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will now have the report of the Facilities and Purchasing Committee by Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you, Dr. Van Lynch. We met this past Thursday, September 24th at 8:30, and as per our usual, we began reviewing and approving the list of bills. We then moved on and reviewed and approved renewal of district use of Kronos that we voted on earlier. Kronos is a timekeeping software package used to manage employees' hours worked. We've been using Kronos for several years, and this contract is a one-year renewal to continue that service. We then reviewed and approved amendments to contracts for the 12 bus service providers. These amendments require drivers to have the required security clearances per Pennsylvania law. As these drivers work for many other districts, the timing requirements, each contract would have to be needed to be cleared for every year for every school district would have been too burdensome. So instead, contractors can be cleared once in 3 years, and that would apply for multiple districts. We then reviewed and approved a renewal contract with, it's not a renewal contract, with Glack and Thomas Panzak. Beech tree has died in front of Welsh Valley and been removed. In addition, there are other trees that have grown inside this front driveway loop, tall enough to prevent grass and window shrubs from growing. So we would retain, if approved, Glacken to provide design plans to improve these areas. We then reviewed and approved an individual work order with Gilbert Architects to draft plans to add classroom space at Welsh Valley, Kinwood, Gladwin, Marion, and Penn Valley. As enrollment continues to increase, the district continues to review its existing space as well as develop plans for possible expansion. At this time, the district believes the additional space may be needed sooner at these schools than other schools, so we'd like to begin the work on those schools now. By beginning the concept work now, the district can follow through on the many steps needed, such as land development approval, actual construction, etc., such that any additional space is completed before the district reaches unacceptable conditions. It was noted that the 10-day enrollment numbers are to be calculated on the 24th, which was the day of this meeting. And these updated concepts will include the 10-day numbers. Finally, it should be noted this is a first step in the process. If any construction is needed, it will be discussed and decided upon at future meetings. We then reviewed and approved a contract with Reynolds Construction. Reynolds Construction will support the plans and designs by Gilbert Architects, just described, by providing pre-construction services that will lead to plans upon which the district may approve if needed. Again, this is just a preliminary step that may lead to future construction at a later date. We then reviewed and approved a proposal to develop a master plan for Arnold Field. As noted during the meeting, the stadium there is over 50 years old and I want to emphasize may, be nearing the end of its useful life. In addition, the artificial turf field that was installed several years ago is getting up in age and also may be nearing its end of useful life. Finally, it should be noted that the Lower Marion High School baseball and softball teams practice and play home games at South Ardmore Park. Some in the community have asked if Arnold Field can be reconfigured such that those sports can be moved back from South Ardmore Park to Arnold Field. The master plan will provide guidance on things that can be changed on Arnold Field, things that may need to be upgraded, replaced, and a timeline for such project. In this process, the district issued a request for proposal to 5 firms. 2 provided responses. After vetting both responses, the district recommends retaining ELA Sport to provide the master plan. Part of the development of this master plan will include forming a committee that will include members of the community to provide input and suggestions into the master plan. Several public meetings will also be held to receive public comment on the master plan before finalization and adoption. We then went on to a change order at Arnold Field. Just recently, we put in a pervious pathway from Montgomery Avenue all the way to the stadium in the back. The change order is to decrease from the original contract. As construction was done, the shoulders kind of around this path have been stabilized, but they have not been planted with grass. So they will not be planted at this time, therefore the deduction in cost and may be planted and improved upon later. We then reviewed and approved 5 contracts from other board committees and district departments. 3 of these contracts were with Michael Redding, Peter Noonan, and Vex Robotics, were discussed and approved at Curriculum Committee. The 2 other contracts were from Lincoln Center and the MCIU, continuations of prior work done by these agencies. Finally, we received 2 updates. First was Mr. Ganan updated his 5-year plan that he presented a couple months ago. It includes a summary of projects recently completed, projects intended to be done in the current year, and additional projects, such as the Arnold Field Master Plan, that may be undertaken in the next several years. It should be noted this plan can change over time as needed. And then finally, we did receive an update from Reynolds Construction on various construction projects. Most importantly, the new 12 classrooms as well as the new foyer were open and used on the first day at Welsh Valley. So that was a tight schedule. That is good news. In addition, while there is still work to be done there, it is noted that the majority of the work was completed on time to allow for these spaces to be used. In addition, renovations at Ballard Kinwood were completed recently to allow occupancy a few weeks ago, and the playing fields at Penn Valley and Gladwin are in and being monitored for proper growth this fall. The next Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting will be on October 15th at 8:30 in this room.
Under the Business Office and Finance, we have 2 recommended action items to approve the list of bills and approve the financial report for August 2015.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Facilities and Operations, we have 7 recommended action items. Mr. Driscoll went over them in detail in his report, so I'm going to take them all in one motion unless the board would like me to separate any particular item. Seeing there are none, the administration recommends the board approve the following recommended action items. Approve the amendments to the following contracts for transportation of school students. Approve the First Amendment to and restatement of the agreement with Gilbert Architects, Inc. Approve the individual work order number 8 from Gilbert Architects for Phase 2 of the district-wide facility study update for amount not to exceed $62,500 plus $5,000 in reimbursables. Approve the proposal from Reynolds Construction to provide estimating and constructability analysis for concepts to add space to Lower Merion School District schools for amount not to exceed $8,000. Approve the proposal from Glack and Thomas Panzak for landscaping services for amount not to exceed $3,500. Approve the contract for professional services to conduct an athletic facility master plan study to ELA Sport. Subject that contract is subject to solicitor's final review. And approve the change order for installation of paved pathway to Arnold Field at Lower Merion High School, and those items are all per the attachments.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will now have the Policy Committee meeting update from Ms. Robinson.
Thank you, Dr. Van Lynch. The Policy Committee met on September 18th, 2015 in this room. We discussed several policies that are up for a second reading. Policy number 118, independent study, is up for suspension. This policy covers independent study requirements for students in the school district. It is being suspended for a short time as it does not represent current practice. It will be continued to be listed at the end of the policy agendas to be revisited shortly. Policy 244, educational research involving school district, for suspension. This policy will be suspended until a future date when educational research by third parties on our students is appropriate or warranted. The suspension of this policy does not preclude the district itself from engaging consultants to conduct research for district-related purposes as deemed necessary. It will continue to be listed at the end of the policy agendas to be revisited sooner rather than later as well. Policy number 217, high school graduation requirements. This policy used to cover promotion and graduation requirements. It's been cleaned up to include only graduation requirements and will be revisited in a joint meeting with the curriculum committee in the future in connection with the strategic plan. We also reviewed several policies for a first reading. Policy 126, aids a course of study for repeal. It's scheduled for repeal. It is being relocated to the administrative regulations of policy number 106, adoption of courses of study. Policy 129, scholars program of study. This policy has been updated to conform with actual practice. Policy 810, transportation. This policy has been updated to comply with recent changes in the law regarding shared custody situations and to conform to actual practice. The regulation was similarly updated. Then we went on to Administrative Regulation 106, adoption of courses of study, where we incorporated the aids a course of study movement. And finally, Administrative Regulation 908, volunteers. It was announced that the revisions to this regulation would be placed on hold in light of the recent change in the timeline for volunteer clearances to be in place to July 1st, 2016. The next meeting of the Policy Committee will be in this room on October 9th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. The following policies were reviewed for a second reading. Policy 118, independent study for suspension. Policy 217, high school graduation requirements for revision. And Policy 244, educational research involving district students for suspension. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve? So moved. There's second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The following policies were reviewed for a first reading. Policy 126, AIDS, a course of study for repeal. Policy 129, Scholars Program of Studies. And Policy 810, Student Transportation. We'll move now to recognition of audience members for non-agenda items, agenda items or non-agenda items. If you would like to give public comment, please sign in with Ms. LaPera at this time. Seeing none. In accordance with Act 93 of 1998, Sunshine Law, the Board of School Directors met in executive information sessions on the following date and discussed September 21st, personnel, September 28th, personnel and litigation. Upcoming meeting dates, September 30th, Communications Committee, 7 p.m. October 7th, Curriculum Committee, 8:30 a.m. October 9th, Policy Committee, 8:30 a.m. October 12th, Education Committee and Supplementary Regular Board Meeting, 8 p.m. October 15th, Facilities Purchasing Committee at 8:30 a.m. And October 19th, Regular Board Business Meeting at 8 p.m. With that, we are adjourned.